Hello, my name is Daryl Tiggle. I'm a senior admissions consultant with Quad Education. I'm really excited to talk to you all. I think it's really important to start thinking about how you prepare for the things that you want later in life. One of the things that was often told to me as a child is that time flies. And every now and then I realized that I started high school and almost in the blink of an eye, it was over. I went to college, maybe 2 blinks of an eye, it was over. So I realized that time flies cliche is something that's really important to pay homage to, especially around the way that we educate ourselves. So you may have been hearing about the importance of getting a strong educational foundation and preparing for college, and it seems far off in the distance. And it kind of is. But like we said, that time is going to fly. And often when I speak to my students, they'll ask me, Mr. Tiggle, do you think I can get into this college? Or do you think I can get into this other college? And they're maybe in their junior or senior year when they're asking that question. So the viability of them getting into those schools has kind of already been determined. Like their body of academic work, their body of extracurricular work, it's been mostly done in preparation for the application. But I tell younger students, especially middle school students, when you're starting to take a little harder math, a little harder science, a little harder English, you might be taking a foreign language, to really embrace those studies. Really learn as much as you can, because it's going to pay you really big dividends later in life, but not much later. If you're starting middle school, you might be in 6th grade. In 3 years, you're going to be a freshman in high school. In 7 years, you'll be a freshman in college, and you're going to want to be. It's just totally necessary that regardless what you want to study, you've got a strong foundation in English, that you're a good writer, that you're a good reader, that you can interpret things, that you have a good understanding of history, because things that have happened in the past oftentimes influence things that happen currently and explain the world to us. Math, even if you think you're not a math person, you'll be doing math forever. Science, if we've just looked at how the world has been evolving over the last several years, we need science, and we need lots of it. We need lots of scientists. And speak as many languages as you can. I'm gonna come back to that topic, but you're gonna be required to take language soon. You might already be taking language. Keep taking a foreign language. Keep taking another language, and as many as you can learn. That's really important to do, so that you prepare for this time that's going to fly. In these conversations you're having with mom and dad and other grown-ups who are really interested, really invested in your academic future, you might be asked, what do you want to study? What do you want to be when you grow up? And they're asking it around, what you want to do when you go to school. If you're like me and many other, young adults and older adults, at 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, maybe even 12th grade, I think very few of us would honestly say, I know exactly what I want to do as a major in college and as a career. One of the things I was often curious about when I was in school, from the first time I got a grade, I wanted to know what they meant. I wanted to know who would see them, and I wanted to know how long they mattered, right? So the good news about middle school, what we really want you to do, we want you to get good grades, but we really want you to learn. And we want you to learn as completely and as wholly as you can, with the intention of getting good grades. But the really nice thing about middle school is that they're grades that sort of give you and your parents and your family and those who are caring about you an understanding of how you're doing in those courses, but they don't live with you throughout the rest of your life. Like there are grades that you're going to get that give you an understanding of how you're doing in those courses, but you don't really need to worry if you get a less than stellar grade in a course in 6th grade or 7th grade or 8th grade. You're going to be forgiven for those. High school, it does become a little higher stakes, but what we want to do in middle school is see where we can excel, right? Those grades give you an understanding of how much understanding you have of that subject matter. So don't be stressed out. Don't Don't be concerned if you're not perfect on every grade, but just work towards perfection and know that when you get to high school, we're going to have a little bit more higher stakes on the grades that you produce on your transcript. So one of the things you probably have the opportunity to do, maybe even before middle school, is that you can be active outside the classroom, and that balance is super important, right? So you've got your schoolwork throughout the day, you've got homework, you've got the academic responsibilities you're taking control over, but we also want you to live full lives, and that life means that outside the classroom, we want you doing things that are good for the world, right? But things that are also interesting to you, and they can be a variety of things: athletics, arts, community service, reading, right? Working at summer camps, working a job, right? So one of the things that's really important about developing as a young adult, we want you to be a really bright and educated person, but that education isn't just for taking tests and getting grades. That education is for you to go out into the world and do good things, to make an impact. So we want you to start this year being involved outside the classroom in the ways that you already have been. But please know that once you apply to college, once you move throughout the next steps of your life, people are going to want to know what your talents are outside the classroom. They'll rarely ask you, what's your GPA? They might ask you what your major is, but people will ask you, what do you do with your free time? How do you spend your summers? What's your most important activity? And when you apply to college, that becomes super important, because colleges want to know how bright you are in the classroom and how brightly you shine outside the classroom. So start getting involved. Even if there are things that you haven't participated in before, try auditioning for the play, right? Go and do some artwork. Try out for an athletic team. And if you're someone who just likes to help people, find if there's a place where you can do volunteer work, clean up a park, spend time with elderly people who would love to talk to young people and find out what's going on in their lives. Because when we talk about you eventually as scholars, we're going to talk about your grades for a short amount of time, but we're going to talk about what you do to get those grades and what you do outside the classroom a lot. One of the things about extracurricular activities is people tend to get better at things having done them for a long time. So you can start something new and excel, but a lot of people who have danced for 10 years or played the piano for 10 years or been a football or basketball or soccer player since early childhood, their skill set develops over time. The work that you're doing right now, if you start artwork now, you might in high school start working on a portfolio, right? If you're playing athletics now as a sophomore or junior or senior in high school, there might be colleges that want you to come and play sports for them, right? If you're someone who's making a really big impact and model you in or work outside the school and serving the community, colleges really want people that want to make a difference in the world. And if you start doing it now in middle school, you start to get to enjoy it now, right? You get to enjoy it longer if you started earlier, but you also become better. You become more talented the longer that you do it. One of the good things about having some time to prepare for something that you need to do is you can make a plan, right? You can make a roadmap. And I think we're going to think about two different roadmaps, right, to lead us to college. One is going to be your academic roadmap, sort of making sure that academically where you excel, you try to challenge yourself more. Academically where you struggle, make sure to seek help from your teachers, from your counselors, from your schools, because that really is a sign of intelligence. If you know there's something that you need more information about, make sure to ask that and become comfortable asking for academic support, asking for academic advice, because that's what learning is. I did think when I was a student, I was just supposed to hear it in class and I had to learn it and know it. And then I found out the students who were getting really, really good grades, they went up to the teacher after class and spoke with them, right? If they got a grade on an assignment that surprised them, they went and spoke with the teacher about that. So become comfortable speaking with your teachers because they're your academic support and they're going to give you guidance. They're going to help you along the way. So make your teachers, starting in middle school, part of your roadmap to getting to college. Your classmates are taking the same courses as you, and are equally inspired to do well in those classes. So learn to learn amongst your classmates, right? Find a study partner, right? If there's a class that you're struggling in and you know someone who's doing well in that class, ask them if they might give you some guidance. So communicating with people is the most important part of the college process, but I think communication in general with people will give you the kind of information that you need. So make sure you're doing that, right? If you're a good math student, ask your teacher, what is my future for math? Where can I go with math, right? If you're a good English student, talk to your English teacher and say, what can I do if I'm an English major? Same with other academic disciplines. People who have studied those academic disciplines can give you really good advice as to where you might want to point your future roadmap so that you can go to the right college, pursue the right major that will match the things that you want to do in life. Just like we have teachers and coaches and other people that give us guidance in important areas of our lives, one of the things that I've learned is vitally important is to have good academic guidance and support, right? One of the things that I've been fortunate to observe is that students who get good counsel, who are given good direction, who have someone who knows their academic, right, and their extracurricular desires, and have walked that path before, someone who's maybe worked in admissions, gone to college, can give really great advice to young people who are traveling on that journey. And just like a coach, right, knows your skill set and helps make you better, knows your skill set and will challenge you, knows your skill set and wants you to win, right? I think it's important to have someone on that college journey to help you make the right choices academically, to choose things to do outside the classroom that match your passion and talent, right? And then help you be able to do the research, help you to be able to discover the type of schools that you might aspire to. And again, just like a coach or a teacher does, make sure that the information you're preparing to send into the world is going to yield the type of results that you want. So having someone, especially if people are asking you, what are you thinking about college? What do you want to major in? And you're like, why are they asking me this? This is totally confusing. I'm not thinking about this at all. That's kind of why you might need some support in your college journey, right? Because someone giving you insight and guidance who knows what's going to happen further down the road for you can be really, really helpful in helping you win.